Hello and welcome to part 2 of our special edition of Reward Spotlight. Today we'll be talking about the state of IoT, and for this purpose we have Satya here. So let's not waste time, and why don't you talk about the current state of IoT?
Thanks, Wong. The current state of IoT is very changing rapidly, and the market dynamics are in a great aberration, and it's very interesting from a data analytics perspective as well. So in our research, we found out the number of IoT connected devices is growing 9% year over year, and it's reached to 12.3 billion by end of 2021. And by 2025, it will be likely more than 27 billion IoT connections. However, this growth curve was dented by two of the key major factors. And one was the COVID-19 impact, and the second one is chip shortage. So I would like to talk a bit more about COVID-19 impact on the IoT market. So COVID-19 impacted both the demand and supply initially. However, supply was reduced and the production was halted at times in 2020. And supply chain access and raw materials were not intact at that time. In first half 2020, even the budgets were frozen. In second half 2020, the demand came back, but supply was often disrupted. Many IoT initiatives were halted or in some cases cancelled in 2020. In 2021, COVID-19 have continued significantly impact some regions and resulting in additional supply chain issues, such as lack of vessels, shipping containers, and port congestions. In summarize, the COVID-19 impact has pushed some of the digital aspect of it, but in the overall supply chain, it impacted very large. And the second issue was the chip shortage. And chip shortage was initially the byproduct of COVID-19 impact on the supply chain. However, it became its own issue, and the supply capacity was not available to meet the global demand. One of the key reasons was that the high demand from consumer electronics, as the work from home and lockdown, there was a huge demand from the work from home from consumer electronics, and that led to crumble the supply chain capacity or production capacity of these chip companies. And the chip shortage first impacted the automotive industry, as we all know, and then started to impacting the other industries such as smartphone, television, gaming, and yes, finally the IoT. In 4Q 2020, we already seen a lot of module players reporting shortage in chips. Even the chipset players are reporting a shortage in chips, and one of the key factor is that these two issues, especially the chip shortage, will have a longer impact in IoT industries, because the experts are saying, and we also analyze that it will take two more years to recover from this kind of issue in the IoT market. And hence we see that these two factors will play a negative impact in the IoT growth curve, and it's dented because of these two issues. However, one of the key aspect of our research was also to look at the points where which will keep the growth continue. And one of the things were the 5G and Wi-Fi 6, and yes, low power LPWA applications and technology will also play a key part to push this growth curve ahead. And also recently we have seen a lot of activity in satellite IoT market, and that will play a key role also for the upcoming years. It is important to understand that apart from all these technology that are going ahead and making our IoT market push forward for 27 billion connections, we also seen that the global enterprise IoT spending in 2020 grew 12.1%, reaching to 128 billion. So these are the few aspects of state of the IoT market in 2021.
Thank you for answering that. So if you don't mind, I'll ask you another question. So what are some key trends from the connectivity segment in the market?
Thanks, Wong. Thanks for the question. One of the two key trends that we have saw in the state of the market today is the cellular connection reached 2 billion mark in end of Q2 2021, first half 2021, and it's really a big milestone for cellular technology. And still China leads this market. It's controlled almost three quarters of the global market, which is around 75% of it, and Vodafone leads the global market excluding China. So, but still, a 2 billion cellular connection is one of the biggest milestone for cellular industry ever, and it right now contributes to the 20% of the global IoT connections. One of the sub trend that we saw in the cellular industry was that the 2G 3G was declining rapidly. However, we expect 2021 will be the year where 5G mass adoption will start, and the 4G connection will have a good growth. It grew 25% year over year, and due to the basically the LTE Cat 1 and Cat 1 subsegments. The second trend that we saw as another interesting milestone is that licensed LPWA was larger than the unlicensed LPWA. So in first half 2020, this scenario was very different. The unlicensed LPWA was much larger than the licensed LPWA because LoRa was leading it. And in 2021, first of 2021, that picture is completely opposite. LPWA leads with 54% share, where the licensed LPWA lead with 54% share, while unlicensed LPWA has 46% share of global LPWA connections. And one of the key reasons that the licensed LPWA grew is basically the NB-IoT connection grew 75% year over year in first half 2021. And NB-IoT as a single technology now dominates the whole LPWA connection market with 44% market share, and LoRa slipped to the second place with 37% market share. And in the last 12 months, the asset tracking and asset monitoring were the key application for driving unlicensed LPWA technology. While for NB-IoT, the growth factor were smart meter and building and infrastructure industry verticals.
Thank you for answering that question. So this marks the end of this video. Feel free to check out part 1 of our special edition where we have Knut answering to the state of the current market. And if you're more of a reader guy, feel free to check out our website and read our 2 blog posts on that topic, or use the contact form and ask us any questions.